Hi there, it's Angela Sharp, and welcome to the Daily Mix. I hope you had a great week. I've got some really fun stuff in store for you. Over the weekend, I got to join our friends over there at Monster Energy's Supercross, and yes, they put me on a bike yet again. I have so much fun doing this, but I have no idea what I'm doing every time. However, they did say that I did pretty well considering all the other media personalities they had come there, so that's always a ton of fun. Eventually, what I'd like to do is get so good that I could do one of those jumps. Wouldn't that surprise all you guys? Anyway, you're gonna have to stay tuned to see if I fall or stay stationary and up on the bike during that time. So much fun. You know what else is coming up? Now, I realize that the date is kind of weird with how this show is gonna air, but on April the 5th, Kelly Chase is doing a celebrity hockey game to raise money for the fight against cancer. It's called Puck Cancer because you know how Chaser is, but it's so much fun. We got Garth Brooks and Sean Payton, Brett Hull, Joe Quenneville, Ed Bedefor, Chaser himself. I mean, just so many awesome hockey names throughout. Brendan Shanahan, I could go on and on. If you don't have a ticket for it, and you don't want to get a ticket for it, that's okay. You can watch and support on YouTube, on the Car Shield YouTube channel. That event will be hosted by me and Hayes. You guys remember Hayes? He used to be on Z1077 and Y98 here in St. Louis. Well, he's coming back to town to co-host that with me, so definitely check it out. Now, if you have been watching this show for any amount of time, you know that I've been doing small little weekend Route 66 trips, right? I've been taking my dad or my friend Nathan out. We've been going on these Route 66 trips, just like the local area. Eventually, we'll want to do the whole thing. But we needed a guest for the show, and I was like, who is a better guest than the president of the Route 66 Missouri Association? I've got Roamin Rich Dinkela coming up on the show. He's going to tell us everything we need to know about Route 66, where to go, where to stay. He's going to tell us everything. It's going to be awesome, and I have a lot of questions because I've been trying to do this locally, and it's not the easiest thing to do locally. He's going to explain why. Let's get started on today's Daily Mix. St. Louis Wing Week is back this spring. St. Louis area restaurants will be showing off their own special take on the chicken wing and serving up some really delicious deals. Now, to fully prepare for Wing Week, it is best to plan ahead and download the official St. Louis Wing Week app. There you can also track what wings you've tried, where you still want to go, and see all the points you've earned. The top points earners and those who check into 4 or more locations during Wing Week will also get a chance at a grand prize. Wing Week runs April 8th through the 14th at participating locations. Visit stlwingweek.com for all the details. And of course, a registration for the 2024 Cardinals 5K is underway. The 5K will take place both in person and virtually, so Cards fans around the world can join in the fun. All participants will receive an exclusive hooded t-shirt and a medal featuring Willie McGee. All proceeds benefit the Cardinals Care Redwood Rookies Youth Softball and Baseball program. The in-person event will take place downtown on Saturday, April 13th, starting and finishing on Clark Street between Ballpark Village and Busch Stadium. And then afterwards, racers can take a victory lap around the warning track inside the stadium and join the post-race party on the plaza. You can learn more and register at cardinals.com/5K. The Book of Mormon returns to the fabulous Fox this April. The 9-time Tony Award-winning Best Musical is a musical comedy that follows the adventures of a mismatched pair of missionaries sent halfway across the world to spread the good word. The Book of Mormon will be on stage at the Fox April 9th through the 14th. Now, this is so much fun. You can find tickets and more information at fabulousfox.com. Embark on a journey through time and style at Threads. Now, this is a fundraiser hosted by the Missouri Historical Society. Guests are invited to celebrate the fashion of yesterday and today and embrace the theme. Make it bold, make it patterned, make it work. The gala will include a red carpet arrival and a runway fashion show highlighting the creative work of 10 local designers. Funds raised at this Threads event will help support the work the Historical Society does to inspire and engage with the St. Louis region and beyond. Threads will be held in the Grand Hall and the Missouri History Museum on Saturday, April 13th. For more information, go to mohistory.org. Arrival from Sweden, the music of ABBA arrives to St. Louis this spring. The show features powerhouse hits like Dancing Queen, Mamma Mia, Waterloo, and many more. With all the flashy costumes, talented musicians, and breathtaking singers, it's hard to believe it's not the real ABBA on stage. Arrival from Sweden will perform all of their greatest hits from the iconic supergroup on Sunday, April 14th at the Factory at the District. Visit themusicofabba.com or thefactorystl.com for more information. How about traveling the world through film at the Jay's St. Louis Jewish Film Festival? Over the course of 2 weeks, the festival will showcase national and international cinema, including documentaries, dramas, shorts, along with introductions by filmmakers and experts on the issues the films bring forth. The screenings will be held at the B&B Theater in Creve Coeur. The St. Louis Jewish Film Festival runs April 7th through the 18th. Visit stljewishfilmfestival.org for a full lineup, tickets, and more. And I really am excited about this one. Among those films being screened at the festival is a documentary about the life of the beloved Hollywood star, Gene Wilder. The film follows his journey of becoming an icon, his personal life, and more. Take a look at Remembering Gene Wilder.
Come with me, and you'll be in a world of pure imagination.
I used to be Jerry Silberman. When I was 8 years old, my mother had her first heart attack. Her heart specialist whispered in my ear, "Try to make her laugh."
My blanket, my blue blanket, give me my blue blanket. The only thing that concerns me is the preservation of life.
And I did make my mother laugh.
He was a combination of innocence and danger.
Champagne?
You didn't know what Gene Wilder was going to do.
He was an actor who had an ability to be funny.
Hello.
He's naive, he's innocent, he's sweet, simple, and honest. But when he got excited, he was a volcano.
He had a unique ability to find humor
I never thought it could be like this.
in anything. I love Gene's choice of acting roles. It's totally eclectic.
Oi, Gewalt!
Gene and Mel, they go beyond.
Don't put the candle back.
And we couldn't not laugh.
May I go in?
We are the music makers, and we are the dreamers of dreams.
Charlie Buck.
You could tell that this was going to be somebody who's going to be fun to work with. He wasn't treating me like a kid.
Gene was able to do things in comedy that are dangerous to do.
Darling, would you get down?
Richard Pryor was my teacher.
What are you doing?
Good bad.
My dad knew undeniably there was a magic between them.
It's all right.
They fueled each other, and their improvs made them both better.
You've had tragedy in your life. You seem like you're in a really good place now. You're happy.
He was just a different kind of person than I'd ever met.
To have found someone at this stage of my life, I was in love.
But I knew then that something was very wrong.
Alzheimer's disease, dementia.
When I'd see him slip away further from me, that was the hardest part.
He embodied these characters, and we felt their humanity.
You'll never find another Gene Wilder. He was amazing.
I didn't think Jerry Silberman had the right ring to it. I wanted to be Wilder.
I'll do it!
That is definitely a movie I want to see, and by far the best Willy Wonka, if you ask me. But by the magic of television, I am now joined by my guest, Roamin Rich Dinkela. Thank you so much for joining me today.
Thank you, Angela.
Okay, so president of the Missouri Route 66 Historical Association.
Yeah.
Okay, so you look rather young to be the president of an association about a road from the 30s.
Yeah, I'm 46 years old, but some people call me an old soul.
An old soul, okay.
Yeah.
So what got you started into wanting to know more information about 66?
As a kid, I used to roam around my neighborhood of St. Charles City a lot, and I got to learn all about the history of Lewis and Clark and all the great explorers of this continent. That was just kind of one of the things that caused me to segue into this. My mom was an archaeologist, and my dad was into pavement construction. And so over the years, we did a lot of road trips, and I just kind of became enamored with roadside attractions.
This is so cool. So I've been doing the local ones, the ones that are close by. Eventually I want to do the whole road, but I've been taking like the little weekend trips to do it. And I was like, this is the best person to have on here because you can explain some of the things to me that was confusing me on my journey with my dad and my friend. So the brown signs versus the blue signs, I need to know more information about that because a lot of times you'll see those brown historic Route 66 signs and then you'll see the blue byway signs, but nowhere have I found why that is.
So the brown signs are the original ones from when the byway was created in the 1990s. So what you're seeing is some leftover brown signs. The blue ones are the more modern version that have been maintained by MoDOT. So the old brown ones, those are part of a different system. They're not part of the MoDOT system.
Okay.
They just simply haven't been upgraded. But it's still the route.
It's still the route.
Yeah.
So you can kind of follow the route based on the signs. Mm-hmm. You can use apps, you can use maps, you can do whatever. When you do it, what do you use? Because I feel like you're the expert on this.
Well, I've created my own system of things through research, and I just kind of know it. I've been doing it so often. I just kind of know it by the back of my hand now. But if I was to tell somebody what you should do, you really got two choices. You got a Route 66 navigation app. There's a couple out there. I prefer the yellow one, Route 66 navigation. And then there's also the timeless. Jerry McClanahan is the author of this book called The Easy Guide.
Okay.
It's a spiral-bound book. You can just set it on your lap, set it on your dashboard, and you're good to go. It's got nice animated or illustrated drawings and pictures of the maps. And Jerry's been doing this since the 80s, so his maps are pretty accurate.
That is cool. Now you do a YouTube channel based on Route 66.
Yes.
So tell me a little bit about that.
I've been doing a YouTube channel since about 2010, trying to promote Route 66 and encourage people to get out and see it, experience it, start a business on it, all these different things, and just promoting it.
Just promoting it. And you're typically, we can find photos of you sitting on the highway. I mean, kind of there. I mean, you're finding, I guess, desolate areas to do that with.
Yeah, I like, if someone abandons an old recliner or something off on the roadside, I'll yank it out onto the road, pop a squat, take a pose. It's fun. It's fun.
Now, you've been kind of instrumental in getting this license plate, so I feel like we need to talk about this license plate. So it's the Route 66 license plate. Tell me about this and this journey for you.
It's a very special license plate. This guy right here took many, many years.
I bet it did,
to get this to be a reality. This is a state issue plate. This is a real license plate that anybody in the state of Missouri can get for their car. You just have to go to our website, missouri66.org, put in your application, pay the fee, and we'll do the rest for you.
I think it's really cool, especially because it's black. You don't see a lot of black license plates. If you have a black car or any of these colors on there, that would be a really, really nice license plate for your car just in general. But I'm guessing a lot of people are going to be doing like the US 66 Missouri or Cruisin' 66 or something.
Yeah, you're definitely going to be sticking out of the crowd with this license plate. People are going to ask you, wow, where'd you get that license plate? And it's going to spark this whole conversation of your interest in cars and Route 66 and things like that.
Why was this important to you?
It was important to us because we had no fundraising mechanism for the association. So all the funds and proceeds generated from this plate go directly to our association. We're a nonprofit, 501c3, and we do a lot of great things all around the state and beyond our state. We go outside of our state into the other 7 states and do neon restoration, provide grants and things like that. All this money that comes from this plate helps fuel those projects.
I love that. Well, let's talk about a project that you're doing kind of personally, which is that Shamrock Motel. So tell me about that.
The Shamrock Motor Court, that's in Sullivan, Missouri. That's been a pet project of mine before I owned it. Since about 2018, 2019, we started doing some association projects out there, doing cleanups and stuff. When the whole COVID thing happened, we decided to go ahead and purchase the property, my wife and I.
Wow.
And so we've gutted the place, we put a new roof on it, all new plumbing, all new electric, and we're hoping to be open next year.
That's huge. And why is it important to you to kind of keep those older things alive? Because a lot of times what people will do is they'll come and they'll buy the property, tear it down, and put up a Walmart or something.
So it's important to me because you have this skill, this artisanship that's been around 100 years ago. In the case of the Shamrock, we're talking about a stone-built motel, cottage style. They don't build them like that anymore. And so these places are starting to disappear. We had some in Springfield that got knocked down a couple years ago. Now it's just a vacant lot. So once they're gone, they're gone. I think it's important for people to be able to touch that history, experience that history, and see it for themselves.
That's huge. And there's some history coming up. I mean, April's a big month for a couple things of history. So there's a neon sign. So tell me about that neon sign.
The Park Plaza neon sign. It's going to be down here at Lindbergh and Watson, down in South St. Louis County, at the Holiday Inn. Now, probably just a couple hundred yards from where the sign originally stood. Now, this sign sat in a farm field for decades.
Okay.
And the Sunset Hills Historic Organization took on the project of restoring this sign. They gathered up a bunch of donors. They think they donated right around $90,000 to restore and erect this sign. It's going to be lit on April the 13th.
April the 13th, and there's a great photo of it kind of being put in place. I've actually driven by this, and I didn't know about it until I drove by it. I'm like, wait, that sign's new. Like, what's happening? And then I had to figure out that it was actually going to be lit up, which is going to be really cool, I think, to see.
What's old is new again.
What's old is new again. Well, in that aspect, the Chain of Rocks Bridge, there's something going on there as well. Yeah,
so for decades, literally since the 60s, the Chain of Rocks Bridge has been closed. Now, back in the 90s, there was a revitalization project that opened it up to pedestrians and bicyclists. But the Missouri side, we call the western terminus, was just this drab, vacant lot. And Great Rivers Greenway has taken on this multi-million-dollar project to restore that whole section on the Missouri side and make it into a visitor center. And they're going to open that up on April the 14th. Yeah.
So you got a lot of stuff happening here in April to kind of keep people going. Locally, let's say locally, when you're traveling just locally, what is something that maybe not everybody knows about that you're like, I really like this part of Route 66?
Locally through St. Louis, this is something that hardly anybody ever sees, it's so obscure, the Chain of Rocks Park. So it's this little switchback that goes up to Glasgow Village from Chain of Rocks. And you still have some of the old fountains and the old mosaic vases still there. They're really hard to see. It's best to go in the wintertime. And if you go in the summertime, you're probably going to want to have some bug spray.
Bug spray, because it's going to be a little messy. That's so fun, though. How many times have you done the full Route 66?
Oh, dozens.
Dozens? Oh, so you've done this a bunch of times.
Oh, yeah.
So I'm enamored with it, so I need to know what's something that you look for on your travels.
I'm always looking for something I haven't seen before. I'm looking for old signs, old murals, old buildings. In the case of the Shamrock, I've been up and down Route 66, I don't know how many times. I didn't even discover it until 2016.
Wow.
And it's because it was so obscured with trees and bushes that I just happened to never see it before. And I caught it out of the corner of my eye one day. I said, how did I miss this place?
I love it. And some of these towns really kind of lean in to the Route 66 thing. There may be spray painted on the drive, maybe there's signs up, and then other towns don't seem to even notice it. Do you notice that?
Yeah, there's a lot of places that don't grasp the whole concept. The places that do, they of course reap the benefits of all the economic inflow from tourists and stuff like that. Prior to the COVID outbreak, almost all of our travelers on Route 66 were international. 80% of them were international.
Wow.
So you have this huge amount of money coming down the road, so to speak, from all these international travelers. Now there's a bigger domestic interest in the whole road.
Well, it's kind of a big deal because I'm now on a bunch of different Facebook groups kind of following along, and like people are coming, like you said, they're shipping cars over, or they're coming and just renting a car. But I think it's really fun when it's like a classic car myself. But it's always fun to see people like do that journey and, you know, think about stories of maybe their grandfather or something telling them. And I think that's really neat. Is there something locally that you think, oh, if you haven't seen this yet, like maybe it's something everybody's seen, but you're like, you should check it out?
Well, in St. Louis, you got the Chain of Rocks Bridge, you got the Manchester Road alignment, you got Carl's Drive-In.
I love Carl's.
That's a place that not many people know about, that it's on Route 66. Carl's Drive-In used to be a gas station. When you go in to sit down to have your burger and a root beer, you're actually sitting underneath the canopy of the old gas station.
Now that's a fun fact I didn't know, and I used to go there all the time with my papa. We'd get the little root beers when I was a kid.
Yeah.
That is a cool fun fact. How do you just researched all these spots?
I mean, if you go enough times, you know. I mean, that's
goodness.
Boots on the ground.
I love it. We could talk Route 66 for days, but I feel like we're running out of time. So let's tell everybody where they can follow along with the association and with you.
Missouri66.org is where you can find the association.
We got that logo right there up on your screen. And what kind of information can we find on that association?
You can find various maps and guides on how to follow Route 66. We also have our membership, which you can sign up for. We have an awesome quarterly magazine put out by one of the best authors of anybody on Route 66, Joe Sonderman. He's also a radio personality here in St. Louis, and he puts out a fantastic magazine every 3 months.
Oh, I love that. Where can people follow along with you? Because I feel like you know a lot.
You can find me on Facebook or on YouTube. Just look up Roamin Rich.
And that YouTube show that you've got?
That's 66 Minutes with Roamin Rich.
66 Minutes with Roamin Rich. And you also have Hooked.
Hooked on Route66.com.
Okay, so
I'm all over the place.
You got all sorts of things. I love it. Make sure you follow him, follow the association so you can take your Route 66 trip. We definitely want you to do that. And when you're done following him and the association, make sure you, of course, follow us. You can find us on all our social media channels and at stltv.net. We want to hear from you. Who should I have on the show? Let me know. We didn't mention it at the beginning of the show, but I know him already. We used to line dance. So as we go to credits, we're going to line dance ourselves out of here. Make sure you tune in next week. I'll see you then.